So, can you tell us how we begin this season? With the new Good Place in this world here.
This is yours.
Okay, we won't tell you very much, but we ended last season. What do I want to tell you? We have a couple new people that a couple new characters. What can I say, my man?
I don't know, because I can't remember what we shot last week.
I know. We are trying to. We ended last season trying to
we have a chance to reboot
The Good Place.
The Good Place and prove that the old point system, no one's gotten to heaven for 500 years because life is so complicated. Because this,
Right.
someone made that in a sweatshop, so
Right.
you just lost some points putting that in my face.
Right.
So we have to revamp the point system.
And we are hoping to prove that we can make people better.
Yes.
So that's
This
how
is the
we start.
final season. If it was up to you, how would the story arc of your character end?
Oh, nice try.
I know. He's trying. Literally the way it is. Literally the way it is ending.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm telling
Yes.
you. No, I'm not.
No.
I'm not joking. The way it is ending is how we would want.
When we heard the story, I went home, I'll speak for myself, and told my wife the ending, and I started to cry describing the ending. It's so beautifully written. It's hard to say because we haven't shot it, and it's not our place to say it, but I can't wait to talk to you guys next year after you've seen it.
Yeah.
It's really
You're gonna like
satisfying.
it. For fans of the show, you will be very satisfied.
Yes, promise.
We are.
And then you both had some tremendous character growth over the course of 3 seasons. You're starting to feel things, both of you. How has that been, evolving your characters throughout the seasons into season 4?
I mean, it's a fun acting challenge, and it is a challenge to sort of ride that line. But it's been, nobody, we haven't gotten to sit in like a boring character for 4 years. The fact that we've evolved has been lovely.
About the third week of the show, I looked at Darcy going, poor Darcy, she's just going to play this boring computer. I have this really cool part, and she has a boring part.
The writers really treat the cast well. They give us a lot of fun things. Did we just get our butts pinched by Little Belle? Oh boy.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
Yeah.
It's an actor's dream.
And
It
then
is.
lastly, we've seen a lot of versions of The Good Place. For you guys, what are some things that would be in your bad place? if
Bad
you had to
place?
go?
I would have there would always be a spider crawling across the ceiling, like not in your face, but just like I can't really sleep. That would be bad for me.
Really loud party with really loud music filled with people who I've met once or twice and whose names I can't remember.
Yes,
That's hell.
that's it.
That is hell. That's the
That might
bad
be later
place.
today.
So, when it comes down to your character, he's always someone who kind of lives the things he wants, the things that makes him happier. He always seems like he's already in a good place to himself, within his own mind too.
Does things without abandon.
Yeah. So what do you think is one thing to him that would be the good place? I mean, is it being, on his team playing football, or is it just, wings with his bros?
I think
or do you think he's grown because of the good place too, in some senses?
I mean, like in a deep-rooted sense, like there could be various good places for Jason depending on the season, but I think overall, Jason's good place is being able to score the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl with Blake Bortles passing him the ball. That is his good place.
That's it right there.
Yeah,
So,
that's the one.
have you ever heard from Blake Bortles, by the way?
I don't know. He's close. He's like with the Rams now, right? So maybe he might be, taking a peek nearby or something like that. Who knows? Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see.
Tahani's gone through so many ups and downs of what she wants, whether it's, her own personal respect, whether it's love, whether it's, where do you find yourself now as we close down? Like, what do you think would be her good place? What would be her happiness at this point now?
She needs to make peace with her parents. She really does. I think that's a really big thing that you can still see in her discomfort. She's still our parents can really fork us up, and so I think that she's a perfect example of that, how it just gets in you and comes out through all of your pores. And so I think that's an important relationship. Tahani needs to fall in love with herself, and then maybe she'll be able to finally fall in love with someone else. Some action for Tahani. Let's hashtag it. Get Tahani laid.
Knowing this is going to be the Forkin best last season ever, what can we expect as we begin this new reboot into everything we've already known?
It's sad to know that our show is ending, but when we were told why and how and what of it all, to me, the only thing I thought after my long, hard cry was that is going to be so worth it. That ending is going to be so worth it.
Yeah. We're in a really interesting place where, I think that the audience is ahead of some of the characters right now, and I just think you can expect what you could expect every other season, which is, for the rug to be ripped out from under you at some point, and
to walk away with a little life lesson.
Yeah.
Can you tease a happy ending between Eleanor and Chidi? I know last season kind of ended on a heartbreaking note. Can you say anything about that?
No.
Or what you hope?
I know I personally would love to just be paired up with Kristen Bell in everything I do for the rest of my days. So, there's real love here, but as for the show, you have to watch that.
This will happen again for sure, because Will and I will make it happen. But I think that, Mike has definitely made it clear that these two characters are not a perfect match, and that is why they are perfect together. They are not matching puzzle pieces. They are not identical twins. They challenge each other, and they balance each other, and they make each other grow. And those are kind of the best kind of people. So I think that's been sort of established as the undercurrent of the show. So I don't think you can expect them to be ripped apart or find new loves, but you will see the conclusion of their journey.
Definitely is looking for ways to game the system. He's not done with Michael. Shawn has a chip on his shoulder about Michael and wants to punish him for being a traitor, and that doesn't end. That only gets ramped up in season 4.
So when we talked to Kristen, she was already kind of tearing up, thinking about how the show's going to end and things like that. Can you tell us about that moment when you told them, the final season, and also told them how the show was going to wrap?
Well, yeah, 2 different conversations. The first of was like phone calls to Ted and Kristen and the rest of the cast saying like, this is what we've decided. I waited until we were 100,000% sure because I didn't want to have to deliver that news if I didn't really mean it. And those were hard, but they also everyone immediately was like, yeah, okay, yes, right, I get it. The actual pitching of the final episode we did in pieces. We did sort of when people were available, we sort of walked them through it, and it was very hard to do that. Like I like pitching episodes to cast members because it helps me. Like when I hear myself say it out loud, I can tell whether there's a problem with it. I don't know if you're the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very helpful. So I did it like 7 or 8 or 9 times to different people, and it sucked because it's like I hope it turns out well, but it just the process of like staring a friend of yours in the eyes and saying, and then this is how the last words of your character will sound, was hard,
As a creative, would you rather have it as a limited run so you sort of know where you're going from point A to point Z than, the way, you got another season, you got to keep,
It's always better to know because in TV usually one of 2 things happens. They cut you off too early and you get canceled, or you do your job well and the show's good and they make you go much longer than you want to. So whatever the length is, if you know, and it's particularly in Mike's case, this is the length he wanted and they supported that, which is rare. It's the ideal situation.
I think there's also we live in a new world now of TV where you don't have it's not one size fits all. It used to be every idea draw it out as long as possible.
Yes.
And now we're in this situation where the idea can actually dictate the length of the series, and whether that's 6 and out or whether it's 350 or whatever the Big Bang Theory did. Like it's the idea tells you how long it should last, and that's amazing. Like that's what it should be. For a while, everybody who made a TV show, it was like everyone was a painter, and no matter what you wanted to paint, it was like, here's your canvas, it's 12 inches by 18 inches, this is the deal. And just the luxury now of being able to figure out what the idea suggests the bright length should be, that's incredible. I mean, that's a massive revolution, I think.
Now, with characters in the good place getting essentially what they want, that's the goal of the good place, to get what you want, your desires. Were there any of the actors having desires or something they really wanted to have in place in their character as they ended it? Was there any requests?
There were no requests, interestingly, which I think is a good sign because that means that they weren't dissatisfied with the paths they were on. The thing that the writing staff spent the most time talking about was exactly that question of like, what will it mean to say that this person's journey is complete? And that sounds facile because that's what every showrunner does with every character. But in this case, we're literally talking about the journey of existence from birth to eventual permanent death or whatever. So that is the thing we talked about the most, was like, what will feel satisfying? What is this person? What would it actually mean if this person were in paradise and got exactly what he or she wanted in a way that was satisfying and felt correct? So that's what a lot of season 4 is about, is tracking those people through and making sure that happens, or at least for most of them.